Hello, all you hot listeners. This is episode 2 of Husband and Wife Talks. This episode, me and Marta are going to be sitting down with our good friend Allen Kao to talk about things that he's interested in, mainly ballroom, that he did for multiple years, along with traveling, board games, and vlogging. We get into a lot of different topics such as that. It's an exciting conversation. We hope you enjoy, and here we go. Hey, Marta!
Hey, Adam. How's it going?
It's going good. What are we doing today? I see a certain gentleman to my right, so what exactly are we here for?
We are here to record episode 2 of our Hot Pod, and today we actually have a special guest with us. His name is Allen Kao. Allen is a fellow chemical engineer from the University of Maryland. He is also a renowned ballroom dancer, board gamer, world traveler, and almost YouTube famous vlogger. Introducing Allen Kao!
Before you start, Allen, I'm just curious, is it YouTube famous when you don't list your actual vlogs?
So all of my vlogs are unlisted. I just don't make them public.
You just do them for
It's
fun.
for safety
I just do them for fun,
purposes,
yeah. So I
for
just send them
privacy.
to who's in the video, yeah.
Well, you could just release them, and then maybe you'll become famous. Maybe we'll all become famous.
Then a lot of stuff needs to be censored out.
So, Allen, I think the main reason we brought you on here is, I don't know, I was always interested in what you got into, or why you got into ballroom at college. You did it a lot. You were very into it, and you still are to this day, even while working. So what exactly got you into it?
Well, no, I quit, remember?
Oh, that's true.
Until
recently, I guess. I completely forgot that you quit, but you were really into it for a while. So why did you get into it? And then I guess it'll lead to why you ended up quitting.
Yeah, so just like Adam and Marta, I went to the University of Maryland for undergrad. And I really didn't get into ballroom until my sophomore spring semester. And, I have never done any type of dance in my entire life. I have 2 left feet. But, Adam Fillier, one of our good chemical engineering friends, posted on Facebook one day, and she was like, hey, we have a beginner waltz lesson. Come down to the School of Public Health and, come on, check us out. It's a completely free lesson. So I went to the gym, and I went running or something, so I was like in my t-shirt and shorts, and I walked up to the School of Public Health, and I kind of peered into the practice space where everyone was practicing.
I just picture your head popping out of the window.
Exactly. And I was super self-conscious, right? Because I was walking in, I didn't know a single person, and everyone was wearing long pants. I don't know why I focused on that, but everyone was wearing long pants. I didn't know if that was a dancing thing or a ballroom thing, but I just looked down on myself, and I was sweaty, and I had gym shorts on. So I was oh gosh, I'm just gonna go back to my dorm and eat mac and cheese or something. But then I was we're in college, I'm gonna try something new, try it out.
Decided to step out of your comfort zone.
Exactly.
I appreciate that.
Right. Once in a lifetime opportunity. Well, not once in a lifetime, but decided to try something new. So I walked in. I took a deep breath and I walked in, and they're super friendly, super welcoming. And they're hey, you here for the beginner lesson? And I was yeah. And they're cool, just take off your shoes. You'll just dance in your socks and come join us over here. And they had a big group class with girls and guys on each side. They taught us the steps. And we did the box step my first time. And I just remember completely forgetting about all of my chemical engineering problem sets and my tests and all the orgo homework I had to do. And just super into the dancing part and having to focus on one thing. And I'm sure you guys also had that experience because you had to learn dancing for your wedding as well, right?
Yeah.
It's you have to super focus.
It was a little more nerve-wracking because we knew we were doing it for a specific event.
And
we didn't
people.
Yeah, we didn't want to screw it up, so to speak.
Yeah.
Whereas this, it seemed like you were just learning it. Did you do anything prior to going to college, ballroom dancing or anything of that sort? Did it just...
No.
You decided to say, screw it, let me just ballroom dance?
Exactly. I have never done any type of creative or ballroom thing before in my life or dancing, so that's why I'm super proud of what I've done, and I think anybody can do anything if they just practice. I have no dancing experience whatsoever, and if I can get like pretty decent at dancing, then I think anybody who can just put some time and effort into it can also do really well.
So what's pretty decent?
World-renowned ballroom dancer. Don't you remember the introduction?
Oh, true. So what does world-renowned mean, Alan, to you?
Well, I don't know about world-renowned. I've never been told this title before, except now. But basically, you start as a newcomer, and there are different events that you can compete in based on your skill level. Mm-hmm. So you start as a newcomer, and then there's also bronze, silver, gold. Then you go to pre-champ, champ, and then finally you turn pro, and you can compete in the professional competitions. So I started as a newcomer, did some dancing for about a year, then started competing bronze, then continued competing silver and gold. I think I ended at about pre-champ. We were finally in pre-champ, and we were ready to go into champ. But then I decided to take a break because it's a lot of practice to get into champ and do really well.
So is that what your quitting entails? You didn't want to keep going to champ?
Yeah, exactly. So my current schedule, or what I was doing, was after work every day I would just commute to the ballroom because it's on my way home from work. And I would just practice for about 2 hours and then go home. And then sometimes on the weekends too. And we would also have lessons scattered in here and there. Competitions maybe every 1 or 2 months or so. So
did you practice that much in college as well?
Not as much, actually.
Really?
Probably, I don't know. I think now that I have a job, I practice more consistently. Back in college, if a problem set popped up, well, they never popped up. They were always very scheduled. I just never...
Well, they pop up when you procrastinate, and then you're like, it's Tuesday, uh-oh.
Exactly. So, when things like that come up, you just kind of have to be like, getting an A is a higher priority. So
that's fair.
I'm gonna go.
We're making money with your job. Who cares?
Well, that's
about
more
that?
Consistent. In college, you have problem sets and exams, and then it's more calm. But when you work, you work.
Like you were saying, problem sets were scheduled out, so you could have ended up doing them in a reasonable time. But it sounded like you all procrastinated a tiny bit. So, but at least you
kids, if you're listening, there were no procrastinators here. We were very diligent.
We did our homework all by ourselves.
We planned out everything that needed to get done. Really, I would say model students to an extent.
We were the ones who told everyone else when the homework got uploaded to ELMS.
Yeah,
immediately.
ELMS was the student. What is it?
Enterprise Learning Management System.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
He's got it. I don't know what it stands for.
But at least now with work, you would work 9 to 5, so you had a set regimen. What stopped you from just keep going with it? If you're just working, did you just want to try to experience new things, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's also a big time commitment to do that every day. So I wake up at 7 and then go to the ballroom and get back home at 9 or 10 p.m. So basically, it's just nonstop from Monday to Friday, and then having the weekends to relax. So I think having the weekdays free now, I can spend more time with friends Adam and Marta here, even though they're moving now to Denver. So unfortunate timing on that part, but
you can come visit as always.
Yes, but I got a few more weeks with them, so
I'll
try to visit them.
How well did you place in these competitions? I remember me and Marta going up to University of Maryland, and didn't you end up placing either second or third?
Yeah. So the collegiate competitions like University of Maryland, Columbia University, MIT, those are a little bit easier. So we finaled when you guys came in the pre-champ category. But when we went to the national championships, we ended up making, I think, the quarterfinals or the semifinals, which is 1 or 2 rounds after the final. So it's pretty competitive out there.
So is that the highest you've ever placed in a competition?
Yep. Pre-champ, 3rd place.
Hard work. Paying off.
Paying off.
Keeping at it. So, did you stick with the same? Because I always wondered, because I thought you changed partners. So, how exactly does that work? Switching partners up throughout your whole ordeal with ballroom dancing.
Wow. Let's see. Okay, so when you first start as a newcomer, they match you up based on height. So basically, the whole newcomer class, they're like, guys, line up, or whoever wants to be a lead, line up on one side. Whoever wants to be a follow, usually the girls, line up on the other side, and they just go, okay, going down the road, you guys are together, you guys are together.
It would be opposite with me and Marta with our dance lessons. We always wanted to lead.
You wanted to lead, Adam?
Natural leader.
Natural born leader. So that's how I got my first partner, but I think I wasn't able to practice enough with her, so I think over the winter break after our first semester,
she wasn't committed as much as you, right?
she was more, I think.
Oh,
Just because I couldn't practice over break that winter for some reason, I guess I was traveling or something. She was like, I didn't want to practice during break, and I found someone else. So that was devastating to me. I was like, oh, I really wanted to like do well, like we're out to get somewhere. But there was no worries because I've learned through ballroom that everything always works out in the end. Like every single time I've lost a partner, I got an even better partner after that.
Oh dang! Shots fired.
So if you're one of Alan's first partners, don't take any offense to it.
You suck. This is basically what I'm getting from you, Alan.
It's very strange. Like all of us ballroom people are so used to it. Like we are so close with body contact, and we all dance with each other. We always trade partners and stuff, and just have fun. And it's always funny to like talk to non-ballroom dancers about like partner searching because it's very similar to dating. So like when you're looking for a partner, right, you reach out to someone. How I found my last partner, Colleen, someone suggested her. They're like, she's might be a good skill match to you. She's a good height match. So
here's their contact number. Make sure you meet with her. So
I did some Facebook stalking. I looked her up on Facebook and I messaged her. We weren't even friends.
Just like dating.
And I was like, hey, my friend so-and-so said that, you're looking for a partner.
That you're single.
And I'm single, so, would you be interested in going on a tryout? So we set up a tryout, like Capitol Ballroom Friday night at 3 or 7 p.m. after work or something. And we tried out, and afterwards I was like, I enjoyed trying out with you. We should, do you want to continue practicing for a few more weeks or so? And she said yes. So we practiced for a few more weeks. And then I popped the question. I was like, do you want to be partners? Well, first, actually,
for a competition.
Do you want to compete at DCDI? Which was before the DCDI that you guys came.
What does DCDI stand for?
DC Danceport Inferno. It's the yearly competition that University of Maryland hosts. So we competed just because, when you're in competition and there's all this anxiety and stuff, it really helps to see how well you guys match together. Because sometimes partners will be, like, very mean. And
really?
Like after you dance and you get off the floor, they'll be like, I told you, like, to stick on the routine, or, we learned to, like, keep our feet this way during the waltz or something. So even though everyone, like, tries to smile and present their best, like, if something goes wrong, some people can, like, be really mean off the dance floor. But, we jived really well, and, I thought we were a great team, so I was like, I know you. So it was super complicated. She already had a partner.
Oh no!
Kind of that she had been practicing for like a month. But then he moved to California for the whole semester.
Those long distance dance partners never really work out.
So I was like, I know you have a partner, but if and it's not completely set in stone yet, but I know he's coming back soon. But if you want to be my partner, I'd be interested in that.
So did you ever have a partner yell at you or get mad at you during dancing? You don't have to name names if she has, but...
my last partner, Colleen, has never done that. She's super awesome.
Or have you got yelled by other dancers? Because I see when I watch your competition, you all run into each other from time to time, and it doesn't look very pleasing when you run into each other.
Yeah, I mean, we try our best to not to run into each other, but at the end of the day, like, we have to do our own floor craft, which is basically like change the choreography of the routine to avoid other people.
Okay.
So no, I've never been yelled at, but they're definitely. I mean, you can only imagine that two people having to be in a partnership and having to dance together and do all that stuff. It can get difficult sometimes, especially when you have the anxiety and the pressure of a looming competition and you're spending money on lessons and stuff. You want to perform your best. So some couples do get pretty angry at each other, but
really.
I've always tried to remain calm and, think about the big picture. Like, this is just a hobby. We're dancing. Like, just have fun. And if you're not having fun, then why are you doing ballroom? Like, what's the point of doing this if you're going to be yelling at each other and being angry at each other? Like, the whole point of us doing this is to relax and enjoy ourselves.
That reminds me of when you do, like, community sports. Like, when I was doing men's softball, I never get why people get so into it and so intense over softball, where their teams are yelling back and forth, getting angry at one another. I'm like, I don't get. What is this? This is a beer league softball event. Why are you getting mad at one another? It makes no sense. Where at least there's some more competition than a beer league softball. But I guess some people are just that way, where they want to compete and win so badly that they're willing to demean other people, which makes no sense in my mind.
Exactly. But all these partnering skills and being able to stay calm, like, these are great life skills to have. And me and Marta, actually, fun fact, we both work for technology consulting companies. We both have a chemical engineering degree that we don't use. But she works I work for Accenture. And actually, for my interview with Accenture, like, I talked about Ballroom with my interviewer for like almost half the conversation, just because, he was like, have you ever worked on a team? And if you've had any struggles, like, how did you work it out? I was like, well, like, Ballroom, you're in a partnership. That's kind of like a team, right? So just talked about that for a long time.
Not other experiences that you've done in college, just Ballroom.
Maybe a few here and there, but I mean, I'm pretty sure he was all used to all those, like, honor societies and clubs. He was a little bit happy to kind of talk about something new for a while.
That's fair. Yeah. He sounds like the kid that we saw at the Stamp one time when we were sitting down, and it was a freshman kid who didn't really have many experiences, so he just kept talking about high school soccer. Do you remember that?
No.
No, you don't remember that? I think we were poking fun at him afterwards because it just came back to soccer each and every time. But I'm sure.
Oh, I do remember. Never mind. I do remember that.
But I'm sure that's different for the interviewer to hear about. Because I'm sure he or she gets all different types of experiences all the time. You probably don't hear about ballroom dancing all the time.
Exactly.
Do you have any other tips to find your dance partner out there for young people looking for a dance?
Partnerless single folks listening.
Well,
stalk them on Facebook.
One tip I have is to just not be afraid if you feel like someone is too good for you.
This sounds like dating advice.
If you feel like someone is too good for you, just ask them and see if they're willing to try out with you. Because I know sometimes it's easy to label yourself as like a bronze, silver, gold, pre-champ, champ dancer, and if you feel like you're a silver dancer and someone is a champ, like, you're never gonna be able to get with them. But
they're out of your league.
Yeah, they're out of your league, exactly, literally.
Man, this is deep.
But I had someone come up to me who was a silver dancer when I was marketing myself as a gold novice dancer.
Marketing yourself. That's a term, I guess, like, you could say.
I'm looking for a gold partner. I'm looking for someone to compete pre-champ with.
So do you put this up on Craigslist, or where do you put this description of yourself?
Well, you just kind of spread it by word of mouth. That's usually the most effective. There are Facebook groups that people have created for ballroom and Latin partner searches, so that can help too. And also, if you have a coach, they usually teach a lot of couples, so they always have their eye out for you. So they try to do that too. But yeah, just don't be afraid to ask someone who's out of your league, because I had someone who was a silver level ask me, or proposedly bronze silver level, asked me to dance, and she was actually a lot better than she marketed herself out to be. And we actually competed once, even though I was holding out for someone better. But I think she got a lot of good experience out of that, because I had a lot of competitive experience at that time, and I was able to help her out and kind of give her a few tips here and there.
A lot of people probably think lowly of themselves. That's why they label themselves so low when they actually have this skill set to be higher.
Right, exactly.
Is there any advantage, though, to labeling yourself lower and then, like, doing better in competitions? Or eventually do you want to, like, keep moving up so that it's not as easy and you challenge yourself?
You're trying to say, like, hustle the other competitors. They think you're two silvers coming to compete for gold. They won't take you seriously.
It's a difficult balancing act, because a lot of people like to brag about themselves and be like, oh, I'm a silver dancer, or I'm a pre-champ dancer, when they're really just the level below. But if you do that, you're not going to get good results. But at the same time, you don't want to stay in the same level for too long and just get first place all the time, because there's no real challenge in that. So you just kind of have to know yourself and kind of be honest with yourself, like what level you truly are, and kind of just register for that one.
So how do you gauge when you jump to the next level? Is it just if you've won multiple competitions and you realize you just need to compete at just higher competition?
Yeah, so usually people take about a year in each level. So bronze will do for a year, silver for a year, etc. And again, like we said, there are different tiers of competitions, right? So collegiate competitions are usually a little bit easier, and then you have like the regionals and also nationals. So if you're like finaling in the collegiate and regionals, then you may want to consider continuing on. But if you're doing really well in the national competition, like finally getting first place, then it's definitely time to move on, since you'll crush everyone in the collegiate competitions.
You sure people don't just want to stay and just crush everybody? Is that looked bad upon?
It's definitely frowned upon, and each competition has their own rules. So, for example, DCDI, if you get like 7 points, so like you get points for the different places that you get in the final. If you accumulate 7, then you can't dance in that level anymore.
Oh,
so
wow.
they have rules or restrictions.
So how's the scoring actually work in ballroom?
So you start off with maybe like 30, 40 couples at a time, and you have to narrow it down to the final 6 who dance in the final. And when you get to the final, each judge marks you 1 through 6, first place, second place, third place, etc. And those are averaged out to get the 1st through 6th place rankings. But to get there, judges have to mark you on the dance floor. So let's say you start off with like 30 couples. All 30 couples are going to dance on the floor at the same time, and the judges are going to mark back the 24 that they want to call back in the next round. That's the quarterfinal. And all 24 are going to dance at the same time on the floor. Then the judges are going to mark down 12 that they want to call back. That's going to be for the semifinal. And then they mark down 6 on the semifinal, and they call back those 6 for the final.
So they're picking out dancer or couples that they want to see. They're not necessarily scoring out of like a 10-point system or 20-point or whatever.
Yeah, it's not like diving or anything where they get scored like 1 to 10 or like Dancing with the Stars. It's for the preliminary rounds. It's all like if they want to see you come back, like it's called a callback, and then for the final, then it's 1st through 6th place.
You're saying Dance with the Stars is not real?
The judging is not the same as international.
My mom's gonna be mad.
But yeah, ballroom Dancing with the Stars is also takes a lot of creative liberties. You guys came to a competition where you guys saw me do what's called international ballroom, and in that style of dance, you always stay in frame with your partner. You stay connected and you never let go. And in Dancing with the Stars, they say they're doing ballroom sometimes, but then they let go. They do like what you guys did in your wedding dance, and do like spins and twirls. And that's not strictly ballroom. That's definitely they do have competitive dancing for that, but they're just not using the right name, I think. So I think they're just taking a few creative liberties there. So just for audience entertainment, I guess.
Do you have a favorite place to dance?
Favorite place to dance?
Because I know you competed at different states.
Oh, at which competition?
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd say DCDI.
Really?
It's our home competition, and everyone's out there cheering you on. It's great.
Go Terps!
And just the energy that you have with your whole team behind you, and like being able to have friends like you guys come over there and support you, it's just really amazing. Like if you go to MIT, you go to Big Apple in New York, not everyone on your team goes, because you have to travel, you have to be able to be flexible and have time off,
and you gotta be good.
Right. So, and like the other team's not going to cheer for you, so
What?
And there's less people that competing since you're out of state. So like the home competitions are always really fun. So, and we have a team match at DCDI where all the schools compete against each other. So each school takes one couple to represent their team, and they all dance at the same time, and it's super fun.
You gonna miss it?
Ballroom has been super fun, and I've made a lot of friends. It's been definitely like a cool family, because once you get into a hobby and you see everyone every day, it's kind of like you get used to them and they become good friends to you. But I'm definitely going to continue being in the scene. I'm going to continue going to the competitions, like DCDI, maybe drive up to New York to watch people compete.
He's going to be that old guy in the corner that's still watching competitions later on in life.
Yeah. But now that ballroom's not a hobby, I'm in search of a new hobby. Enjoying the free time for now, but I'm sure I'll be bored without any creative outlet or something. But there's always traveling to be done, board games to be played.
Oh, look at this. He's trying to do a segue for us.
Wow, this is impressive. First time podcaster and already one in the ropes.
Well, one of my hobbies is vlogging, and one of the lessons I've learned from vlogging is that it's kind of hard to transition when you do it so abruptly and people don't really understand how to do it. So I've kind of learned to kind of add in a few annotations here and there, so people understand what's going on, and it's just not like random people talking.
So explain to us, how do you transition, Alan? Oh, wise one.
What do you mean?
I don't know. You just said
in vlogging or in general?
Yeah, in vlogging.
Oh, so at first when I started vlogging, I would just kind of see something cool, and I would open my camera and start talking about it. But now that I realize that, a little bit of background, a little bit of story is helpful, I kind of try to introduce my vlog. I kind of say, like, where we are, why we're doing it. Then I start vlogging. If we change environments, then I'll be like, okay, we've moved over here, now we're driving, stuff like that. And I try to end the vlog too, so it kind of has like a complete story. It has like a start and an end rather than just a bunch of jumbled clips that are going from start to finish. But,
throwing shade at somebody at the table?
How's your vlog going, Marta?
Funny you mentioned that. So, I used to think, by used to, I mean maybe last week when we last talked about this, but I used to think I was a vlogger myself. But unfortunately, after watching Alan's legitimate vlog that he took at our wedding, which was awesome, I learned that in order to be a vlogger in some people's eyes, you actually have to put the video clips that you take together into one, because I probably have hundreds of video clips from travels, from different experiences, and they're all just separate. Like, they're really cool clips, but they're really out of context.
You didn't legitimately think that you could just take little tiny slivers and call it a vlog, right? You knew you had to put them together.
Well, yeah, but I still considered myself a part-time
You still had the title above
vlogger.
your name. Vlogger Marta Cherpak.
But, yeah, so I think Alan and I watched some videos that I took last week, and they were entertaining clips. The audio on some was better than others, and sometimes the camera was shaking, and there were a few learning opportunities, I could say.
Do you have any tips for Marta?
Well, I just took notes, introducing the vlog, saying where you are, saying what you're doing, transitions, because a lot of the mistakes that Alan mentioned is actually some of the main mistakes that I was making. I'd pull out my camera and just point it out the window when we're driving, and then later have no context where I am, or just like try to point it to myself, but it's really pointed at like the salt and pepper shaker on the table, and there's a lot of room to grow. But I think it's a fun hobby because, at least out of the vlogs that I've seen Alan make with travels and like get-togethers with friends, it's a nice way to relive those memories, because pictures are obviously nice and they capture moments in time, but pictures you don't remember the smiles, the laughs, the jokes, you just remember the facial expressions or the landscape or the food or whatever you're taking pictures of.
Yeah, exactly. And I watch a lot of vlogs on YouTube. I watch a lot of Disney vlogs and people at the theme parks just to live vicariously through them. So that's what actually kind of inspired me to start vlogging a little bit more in my life. And I think it's just like Marta said, like, pictures can only do you so much good. Like, they definitely help a lot, but I think vlogging sometimes, you have to everything in balance, right? So you don't want to vlog like every single thing you do, because you also want to live in the moment. You want to appreciate your surroundings and your life. Mm-hmm. But I think, vlogging some cool travels, some cool trips that I've done, I've definitely been able to rewatch them and, be really happy about it and have a smile on my face and be like, wow, that happened, and that was a lot of really fun time. So I'm glad I captured that.
How do you decide when you need to bring out your camera to take a video of whatever's going on?
Well, usually if I'm traveling, then I always do that. So any like ballroom competitions, I always bring on my vlog. And if I'm traveling, I just went to New Zealand, so I vlogged that trip. When I went to Spain, I vlogged that as well. And if there's any like special get-together, like road trips, like Marta's wedding, or when we got together at Jess's house, I vlogged that. So usually if I'm out of the house, I'll do a little bit of vlogging. That's if I'm doing something out of my normal routine, kind of.
It's a creative outlet. I know that's why I've always tried to push you to Marta to try to do it more, because you're very creative and you're into that, and I don't know, I just think it's a good way to experience your life.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like ballroom. Like, I have no video or audio editing experience, and it doesn't take too much either to cut and paste clips together and add music on top, but I've learned a few things here and there about video editing, maybe like a week's worth of college class.
So listeners, if you're a novice vlogger like myself, or intermediate, or bronze, silver, gold, pre-champ, or champ in vlogging, feel free to reach out to Allen Kao. First, you can, DM us or
email us.
Direct message.
Email us at hotpod@gmail.com.
That's right. You can email us and we can put you in touch with our special vlogger dancer.
Or send us a vlog with your inquiries.
That would be great. But make sure to put all the clips together.
Or tweet us at hotpod.
So, Marta, do you have an event coming up that you're interested in vlogging?
Do I have an event coming up that I'm interested in vlogging? Well, every time I have an event that I'm interested in vlogging, I get really excited and I clear out my memory so I have lots of space, and then I air quotes vlog it, which just means I take clips with no narration and no context, which I'm also really excited about, and then I never put them together. So I'm wondering if for the time being, if I should focus on that or if I should continue vlogging and then just put them all together later. But Adam and I have a trip to Denver for a few days coming up, so maybe that would be a good time to vlog. Maybe in the plane, get some footage of the landscape. But the thing is, I don't want to be talking on planes like, on the way to Denver now, this is the landscape, and the old man next to me will be like, can you be quiet, I'm trying to sleep.
But correct me if I'm wrong, Alan, that's the whole point of vlogging, is being comfortable in your own skin, willing to just be out there. You know other people are going to be looking at you while you're doing it, but you want to do it for yourself. It's not for anyone else out there to judge you, because honestly, who cares? This is for yourself. This is for your creative outlet.
That is a very good point.
Yeah, I mean, at first I was a little bit self-conscious myself, but then I realized, vlogging in public is a little bit strange. But I mean, people, if you imagine yourself and you see someone else vlogging on the street, you're going to pay attention to them for 2 seconds and then go about your own life and completely forget about them for the rest of your life. So I figured, people are going to look at me for 2 seconds and then completely forget and just go on. And they don't even know me either, so I'll never talk to them again. So
it's like basically getting out of your comfort zone. That's what you did with Ballroom. You decided to take the chance and dance in front of plenty of people, and you got used to it. And once you get more and more used to it, like this whole podcasting thing, you'll get more relaxed and less worried about the words that come out of your mouth.
Wow, this is so meta.
So many metaphors going on right here. I love it.
That's not what meta means.
I know, but I'm also reflecting on the fact that there are also metaphors, because in Ballroom, finding a partner is very similar.
She got you there. There was a metaphor.
I did. It was a metaphor.
That is true.
Yeah, I noticed there's a lot of moving around of blankets, rubbing of knees while talking on the podcast right now. I just think people are a little nervous.
We're shuffling anxiously.
Shuffling anxiously.
And just for folks listening, if, you ever have an awkward experience where someone says a word on a podcast, for example, and you're listening and you're not quite sure what it means, let me help.
Dictionary?
Maybe you don't have a dictionary in the moment. Okay, Alan?
Where's this going?
So I'm just trying to...
Let her get there, Alan. Let her get there.
Just trying to share some knowledge with the folks, okay? If you're unsure what the word meta means, which I know the three of us are very familiar with what it means, but if maybe you're not, I'm just trying to share that the definition is referring to itself or to the conventions of its genre, self-referential. So there you go. Meta just means referring to the self and itself.
Man,
that kind of thing.
All the listeners are just gaining so much knowledge from this episode. I'm
being
serious.
Sometimes,
I'm not being sassy.
Sometimes people say stuff and everyone else knows what it means and that person doesn't. So I'm just trying to,
That's a good point, because you grew up sort of not knowing certain phrases because your parents didn't speak. They barely spoke English when you first came here, so you didn't. Because I would say certain phrases and she would be like, "What does that even mean?" when it's normally commonplace for me.
Yeah, slowly learning the sayings that people say a lot. Common sayings, I could say.
So, I think my first introduction with you, Alan, was, I think it was a board game night, and I never seen someone so interested in playing board games and so committed that you bring over 15 different board games in one container. And I am actually happy that I met you because you're into board games, and I'm a fan of board games as well. And I've never really knew growing up or when I got to college. Not many of my friends at that time were really into board games, and I just feel like I sort of missed out of playing board games because it's a lot of fun just sitting around and being with friends and just having a good time playing a game, even if you're not the best at it, which happens to me all the time. So thank you for that. And
well, I thought you met me when me and Marta were frantically copying our homework at Taco Bell.
Oh, that is true.
Let's have the record show that we were not copying homework. We were frantically finishing a homework assignment that had popped up out of nowhere to be due within the hour. College can be crazy. Sometimes professors email you at noon and they say, hey, you have an hour to complete this. And us diligent students can do nothing more except for work hard for that hour.
And because we were such good students, we just decided we had to skip physics to get this problem set complete.
Mom and Dad, I never skipped any classes.
But I was more, because that is the first time that I actually met you, but I don't know if I really talked to you that much while you were sitting there eating your quesadilla or whatever you're eating at the time.
How did you remember that?
We were sitting in front of Taco Bell.
Yeah.
What else do you eat from there?
The cheesy gordita crunch.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, that's a quesadilla, right?
No,
quesadilla is a quesadilla.
It's a gordita crunch. It's different.
Is this another English phrase that I don't know?
I don't know, but I think the main, the one more formal setting was when we had a board game night or something.
I don't remember that. What did we play?
I don't know. I just know we played a
Was
board
it Tsum
game.
Tsum or was it actually a board game?
Oh, you know what it was? It was the
Tsum Tsum night.
It was the game with the circle in the middle, and you had to bang
Trigger.
it. Yeah, Trigger. I think that was the first game we played.
It wasn't at your apartment.
It was in the View.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was in mine, Monique's apartment.
Yes.
View.
Not my apartment. It was hers.
Oh.
That was the first board game setting where we actually.
I know.
Cause
Marta's showing me a picture of the game I owned. I said the name of the game. I know what it looks like.
So, to keep us on track a little bit, what got you into board games? Because I mentioned why I was sort of into it, but I never got a chance to play it. Did you play it a lot in high school, or is it just something that you just started playing in college, or what?
Wow, that's a deep question. I've never thought about how I got into board games, actually. I don't think I owned any board games before college.
Really?
I bought them all during college and in real life. I think what got me into it was our good friend Jeremy Kaw introduced us to a game called Dixit, where you put different images on the board and you try and guess whose image belongs to whose. And before that, I was just so used to boring games like Chutes and Ladders and Monopoly, where it's just you roll a dice and you move around the board. And this was the first time I've played a game that was actually creative and actually was fun and did something else besides just rolling around the board and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed Dixit a lot. And then he showed us more games that were kind of like that, and I just started doing more research and playing more games like that, and just kind of kept snowballing and kept increasing.
Yeah, because the original games of Monopoly, Chutes and Ladders, Candyland, I know that's another one that I played when I was younger. I sort of got tired of playing those games, but I remember when I got into it, I ended up watching it on YouTube, a channel called Tabletop.
Yeah.
One of somebody that I knew was on, not new, but I enjoyed watching a show, was hosting it. So I started watching it, and I got to see all these different board games they were for older people. They had a lot more strategy. They were very unique, different storytelling, so to speak. There's co-op games. There's games where you're trying to complete a quest together, and then there's also a trader. And there's cool card games where it's not just Uno, even though, shout out to Uno. Uno's pretty rad. But
We haven't played Uno in years.
I love Uno,
I
though.
love Uno, too.
I like it. We just never play.
Yeah, that's true.
So, why would we ever be let's play Uno?
I don't know.
We did play Uno on our Europe trip.
That's true.
Remember? We would have a flimsy cardboard box, and everyone would lean out into the aisle.
We played Uno on a coach bus driving places. So
Who held the board?
Someone would just hold a Ritz cracker box so the cards wouldn't fall down.
Yeah, who was stuck with handed because you can't look at your cards while holding a box.
Oh, dang. You really thought this out.
Yes.
Maybe it was on someone's lap then.
Okay. I was going to say, that seems very difficult for that person. It seems a little
Actually,
like
I think we
handicapped.
did. I think it was in our laps and we passed it around. So you just
So
had
wretched.
a stack of cards, the stack of Uno cards, and you just saw like a green 6 on top. So you put your card on top, and then you just pass it on to the next
That
one.
could have ended real poorly if that fell over or somebody opened a window of any kind and just the wind blew them.
Speaking of windows on buses, did I ever tell you that when I was traveling from New York back to DC one day on the megabus, my window just flew off?
I saw your Snapchat of
Remember?
that. Yeah.
Like 2 years ago?
It slammed open or just flew off?
So megabus has 2 floors, right? And I
Yeah.
was sitting on the top floor, and all of a sudden, like, the window is open and someone's like trying to grab it. And I'm like, can you just close the window? Like, why do you have it open? Like, you're trying to get some cold air or something? And then all of a sudden, it just flies off the whole window. It's huge. It's like as big as this like little
Oh my
table right
gosh.
here.
Really?
Like 2 feet by 3 feet maybe. It's like
Really?
a big rectangle.
Did it hit a car?
No, it just kind of like flew and then landed on the shoulder.
That's not
And then
good.
all of a sudden, so there's just this big gaping hole in the window. And everyone,
And Alan's still sitting in the back like, close the damn window!
I'm like trying to take a nap. It's like, it's getting cold out there. But the drivers on Megabus is on the bottom floor, and we're all on the top floor. So everyone's like yelling at the top of the lungs, "Stop the bus! Stop the bus!" And then they finally figure out that we want to stop the bus, and they have to like evacuate the bus. We had to wait like an hour for another bus, and everyone was like taking pictures out the window. And the Megabus driver was like, "Please don't post that on our Facebook."
But I saw that. I think you posted it on Facebook.
I did, yeah, I did.
Alan said, F the system.
He said at Bolt, or not Bolt, at Megabus.
Your windows are trash.
But yeah, I got the Megabus deal for like $1. You know how they say like fares as low as $1, so you get what you pay for. So you get $1 bus.
It is safe to say, people, that if this podcast ever gets large, we will never be sponsored by Megabus because of this episode.
But Uno, hey, we're all a fan.
Uno, like, you know, give us some cash.
So you mentioned board games and then traveling. So I'm just going to let you two talk about traveling because it seems like your thing.
Traveling. Where do you even begin? That's the most broad topic, but also such an exciting topic to talk about.
Then talk about
Well-
it. You guys talk about traveling all the time when Alan comes over. We see each other in other social events.
Quite ironically, neither of us have any trips planned.
Oh, so sad.
Well, I mean, we have a ton of like domestic trips, like Amber's wedding to Denver, Colorado. I'm going to California, LA, but you know that doesn't count, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think when I think of a trip, I think of
Go big or go home.
yeah, I would agree. And when you've traveled a lot in the U.S., sometimes you want to experience like totally different other cultures. And within the U.S., although there are different types of people and different pockets where whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, North, South, in the middle, it's not quite as different as traveling to a totally different country with new people, new culture, new food. So I think that's part of the reason I consider like big trips to be international trips. Which, like Alan said, neither of us have anything planned, which is ironic for us being such into travel people. So
We could plan a trip right now. We're
wow, that would be super cool.
In this hypothetical trip that you're planning, where would you want to go, Alan?
Oh man. Well, I think we were thinking about going to Japan in 2020,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Because of the Olympics are happening there in Tokyo. And also, I think Adam mentioned that he was really excited about Nintendo Land, which is
Yeah.
opening in Universal Studios Japan, also in 2020. Like, a lot of the amusement parks in Japan are making sure, like, their new rides and lands are getting ready by the
Like,
Olympics.
oh crap, we need to build this up real quick.
So I think if we took a trip to Tokyo in 2020, that would be super exciting.
I can't even
There'd be a lot of
imagine,
stuff.
because Tokyo in general is supposed to be really packed, right?
Yeah. Have you guys been to Japan before?
Never
I have
been
never.
to Japan.
I kind of want to, but
I
never
really
have
want
been
to.
yet.
Yeah, Tokyo is super crowded. It's like New York. Like, you just take public transportation everywhere. It's
So
not
what-
good to drive.
What's going to happen when the Olympics come there and there's even more people from all over the world jammed into one already jam-packed city?
I mean, that's a good question. I mean, it is a walkable city, too. I guess we could always get, like, a hotel or something close to the stadium or any
Ooh.
sports that we were interested
Ooh.
in. Just walk there.
I see all the dollars rolling away from us because of this hotel stay.
Or take the subway. Like, it'll be super crowded, but we can just wait for like two buses to go by before we can get on, right?
Yeah. I mean, we have over 2 years to save and plan because the Summer Olympics in Tokyo are July 24th to August 9th, 2020.
Actually, something I've always wanted to do. I don't know if Adam and Marta are interested in doing something like this, but I've always wanted to stay in a capsule hotel, which is unique to Tokyo. And basically, think of it like as a giant cubby system where you put your backpack in like elementary school. You just have your own little cubby where you sleep, your own little bed cube, and you just crawl in.
I feel like I've seen that
shut
before.
the door, and then you get your own little ledge and stuff. So,
I feel like it's a little claustrophobic.
Marta's
right?
showing a picture right now.
That's got to be claustrophobic, but I guess they have to figure out a way to jam-pack a lot of people.
All the people in Tokyo, right? Well, actually, it's not too bad. We stayed in a pod hostel in New Zealand, in Queenstown, actually, and it was super luxurious. Like, the bed was super comfortable. You got a little curtain to, like, get your privacy, unlike most of the hotel or hostels that we stayed at. Mm-hmm. And you even had the ledge with, like, plenty of space to put your water bottle and your glasses down when you
water
slept.
bottle.
Just a water bottle and glasses, though. Don't get crazy, folks.
And then I guess it's connected to a bunch of other...
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess you all just have to get ready around one another. I guess that's the whole deal, since it's kind of like a hostel, basically.
Yep. I mean, it has more privacy than a hostel because you sleep in your own little cube.
I would call it like a little cabinet. It just reminds me of kitchen cabinets, except they're all clear.
Nice pause.
Well,
in the conversation.
I'm just thinking about what it would be like to sleep in this capsule-like thing where I'm trapped in, and if I get startled awake and get up real quick, bumping my head on the ceiling, and then having to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, and just logistically, I think it would be more of a pain than if you just crawl in, you fall asleep for 8 hours or 7 or whatever, and you wake up, then it's not bad. But if you have to wake up or you have nightmares or whatever, yeah, just thinking.
Just thinking.
So
before, I mean, I don't want to... Do you have any more questions you want to ask this illustrious man that's here with us, instead of just rambling off about,
I think we'll have to save
cabin
travel
pods.
for a whole separate pod because there's so much we can talk about, and I don't want to not give travel its full justice that it deserves.
Maybe if there's a travel podcast with you two, another one, I'll have to sit where Alan's sitting and just let you two talk.
Sure.
Yeah, but in terms of smaller trips that I don't know if you really want to count them. I am going to.
You realize some people consider these trips like their vacation. They look forward to it each and every year to go to these trips. So don't poo-poo it.
All right. I'll. You know what? Adam's right. I'm taking it for granted, and I'm going to be appreciative. Hashtag minimalism.
Hashtag grateful, not hateful.
Yeah, can't be hateful. Got to be grateful.
Or
Hashtag
that.
Thanksgiving. But I am going to be joining Adam and Marta to go to Amber's wedding. I don't know why I said Amber. Amber's wedding in not in Denver, in Phoenix.
Arizona.
In Arizona, along with Monique and Alex. And that's going to be in August, so that should be super fun. And then I'm going to be visiting a friend from me and Marta's Europe trips named Steven in Palm Springs, California at the end of August. So that'll be pretty interesting. And I don't have any plans after that. I guess after that will just be to visit Adam and Marta in Denver.
I'm excited for our Airbnb out.
Woo!
Should be fun.
Yeah, so at Amber's wedding. Just kidding. Amber. Her name is Amber.
Is her name Amber?
Her name is Amber.
Okay.
A group of us were trying to figure out where to stay on the night of the wedding because the location is a little bit remote in the mountains. So hopefully it seems like it'll be very beautiful. We're all excited. But we were looking at where to stay, and there's a hotel nearby. And then Alan and I were talking about potential options, and Alan found an Airbnb that was, I think it was $100 a night. Oh, $150 a night, including taxes and all that stuff. And it sleeps up to 6 or 7 people, and there's quite a few of us going, and we were like, that would be a pretty good budget-friendly option to squeeze 5 or 6 people into a 150 or I think it was more when you added more people. But anyway.
I'm excited. There's a ping pong table.
There is?
Woo, woo.
I had no idea.
Yeah, there was on one of the pictures. There's a ping pong table so I can crush you all.
Wow.
Well, I definitely want to play ping pong with you then to lose. Looking forward to it.
That's funny.
Okay, do you have any questions for our guest, babe, before we end this?
Let's see. For our renowned ballroom dancer, board gamer, vlogger, and traveler. Well, the only question I would have is, when would you like to pod next about traveling? Because we have a lot to talk about.
Anytime you guys are free, I'm free.
That's great.
That's a complete lie.
Actually, that couldn't be further from the truth because...
Every time me and Marta try and... Go ahead.
I mean, I'm sure we're going to say the same thing. It's like, Alan... Especially when he used to ballroom dance, his schedule was more packed, and he would say, oh, I don't have a lesson on Tuesday, July 5th. And I'm like, yeah, we're out of town that day. And he's like, okay, how about Thursday, July 27th, like 3 weeks later? And I'm like, yeah, we're also out of town. Or like, we have our dance lesson for our wedding that day. And then that just continues for months. And then
he's done dancing now, so you can meet anytime in the middle of the week, right?
That's true.
But you guys are also leaving.
Well, Alan actually wanted to come over
weeks.
next week. And he was like, how about July 5th? And I was like, we're out of town. And then it just felt like old times. Old times where we could never get together.
Well, we fly back the 6th, right?
That's true.
So you can meet after we travel back.
We land at like midnight.
Well, first, we were trying to like go to Busch Gardens because we're all Busch Gardens fans. Or at least me and Marta are. I didn't hear what Adam's thoughts on Busch Gardens was. Anyways, that's
I don't think
besides
I've
the
ever
point.
been.
But so we're like, okay, let's plan a trip to Busch Gardens. Are you free this weekend? No. This weekend? No. This weekend? No. This weekend? No. Okay, well we're going to be in Denver after that. So that's that. So definitely hard to plan. But yeah, it was funny because before the wedding, I had my dance lessons and dance practice, and then Marta and Adam also had dance lessons and their own dance practice, so
now you know how it feels, Alan. Now you know how it feels.
The one random Tuesday and the one random Thursday weeks later, when Alan was free, we had our lesson. Mm-hmm. It's like we have the same instructor or something, and she's just running between the two of us.
That instructor, that's another pod, another discussion.
Oh man,
at a later date.
You guys should do like a wedding pod and talk about like how you prepared for it and your wedding dance and.
There's a lot to talk about.
I'm sure we'll talk about it at some point, some episode down the line. Thanks, Alan, for being here.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me. I had a lot of fun, and...
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. We learned a lot.
Thank you for providing me dinner, as always, when I come over.
So, there you go, guests. If anybody wants to come on the podcast, we'll provide you dinner.
You get a free dinner.
Now that Alan eloquently stated that out in the air. So, yeah. I guess I'll wrap this up. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at HotPod. You can also go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/HotPod. There is. Thank you for putting that up. We're on iTunes. If you're listening to us now, please go rate us. 5 stars would be great. We're also in Stitcher. You can rate us 5 stars there as well. I put up 10 stars. 5 stars for iTunes, 5 stars for Stitcher. Okay, Marta? Is that okay? We're also on Google Play now. Got the notification. We're on Podbean, which also has our website, which is hot.podbean.com. You can also go to our Patreon page, patreon.com/hotpodcast, where you can find more information. You can also support us there, get blog posts from me and Marta. I put one up today about the Green Valley Book Fair, which is episode 1, funny enough. But yeah, please keep listening to us. We'll be here next Tuesday. Thank you so much for listening. Babe, you want to say bye to all of them?
Thank you for listening, everyone. Bye.
See you later, alligator. After a while, crocodile. Bye-bye, butterfly.
Okay. We're
Peace out, salmon trout.
Okay, we're bye.
Toodaloo, kangaroo.
Okay.
Bye-bye, baboon.
Okay,
See you
bye.
soon, baboon.
Okay.
Hit the trail, snail.
Okay, bye.
Testing from the MC.
Really?
Oh no, if I change my name, I can't say I'm the MC anymore because my initials will change.
Oh, MC. I get it now.
Do you know what MC stands for?
Wait, what does it stand
Marta
for?
Chirpak.
No, but like actually MC.
Microphone. Oh, MC like EMCEE. What?
What are you
That's
talking
not-
about?
that's
No,
not
like
actually-
when you're
MC
like,
is-
I'm the MC. What does that stand for? I don't.
Nothing.
It stands for something?
I don't know.
Is it a word?
It doesn't stand
just-
for anything.
a lot of
It's
people- a lot of DJs.
EMCEE.
A lot of DJs.
Oh, it's a
say
word?
I'm MC.
Yeah.
MC Hammer.
Oh, I thought it was like I'm the MC, and I was like, that's funny because that's my initials.